Este evento está auspiciado por una universidad. Sabemos que hay muchos universitarios entre los usuarios de Wikipedia y entre los que participan. Sin embargo, es muy común que en las universidades la gran mayoría de los profesores, a la hora de brindar bibliografía o de consultar a los alumnos qué bibliografía utilizan, qué fuente de información consultas, dicen Wikipedia no. Es decir, Wikipedia no es un contenido validado, Wikipedia puede ser editado en cualquier momento y tal vez está Satán detrás. Entonces, como por un lado todos defendemos esta cultura libre, pero por otro lado en lo que todos llamamos contenido formal, ¿sí? Es como que con una gran hipocresía decimos no uses eso. Entonces, ¿cómo enfrentamos ese doble discurso?
And there are many aspects to this question. So the first thing that we might ask is, should students be citing Wikipedia as a source in academic papers? And my answer to that is generally no, you should not. And it's for the same reason, though, that you probably shouldn't be citing the Encyclopedia Britannica, particularly at the university level. I know when I was in university, if I had turned in an academic paper and I just cited the encyclopedia, I would have been marked down for this, because this is not the correct role of an encyclopedia in the research process. An encyclopedia is designed to give you the basic facts to get you started and to point you in the direction so that you can do deeper research. And so it's a good place to go as a starting point to get your orientation, but it should never be the ending point. And that's not a question about the quality of Wikipedia, it's just what an encyclopedia is designed to do. Now, one of the things that I say in this regard, sometimes I hear, oh, well, a professor said, I was actually on a radio program once with a college professor, and she said, I tell the kids in my class, don't even look at Wikipedia. And I said, you can also tell them not to listen to rock and roll music, but they will. This is a completely impractical approach to education. We know that all college students are using Wikipedia, all high school students are using Wikipedia. There is no question that they will be using Wikipedia, and so what is our responsibility as educators? And it's exactly what you hinted at. When they hand out information about bibliography and research, and you do something about research methods, instead of saying, oh, not Wikipedia, we need to say, okay, look, we know you're going to use Wikipedia, and it's a really great place to start, but here's how to use Wikipedia. Here's the strengths of Wikipedia, here's the weaknesses of Wikipedia, here's how you should use Wikipedia to get started and check those references at the bottom and then go get something else. That is really wonderful for that. And I think that's really the key, is that we need to think about, for everybody, how media competence, how the ability to evaluate sources is far more important than it ever was before. In the old days, the range of information available to most students was very, very narrow. You had a very small range of the quality of sources, you know, academic books and things like this. Now, when students go on the internet, or when anyone in this room goes on the internet to research something, you have a huge spectrum of information sources. You have everything from peer-reviewed academic journals. If you really want to dig deep on some topic, you can actually very often find the original academic research online. You can also find, you know, some blog written by a neo-Nazi lunatic, and you can read that, and well, maybe you probably should be very, very careful and not do that. And you have something like Wikipedia, where there is a community, there is a process of review. It's pretty good, but it also is subject to potential errors, just like anything. And there's some of the things that we see in Wikipedia. Very often a Wikipedia article will say, you know, the neutrality of this article has been disputed. It's a very famous in English, and I assume there's something similar in the Spanish Wikipedia. Or the following section does not cite any sources. That's another famous statement in Wikipedia. We need to teach students, hey, if the Wikipedia community is telling you to be careful, you should believe them. That they did that for a reason. They said the following section does not cite any sources. That's because somebody thinks, hey, this isn't good enough yet. We're working on it, and this isn't good enough yet. You need to be very careful here. And so those are the kinds of things that I think we should teach students, because they're, you know, it's inevitable. They're using Wikipedia, so let's help them do that.
I would like to ask you what were the main challenges you identified before launching Wikipedia, and what are the main challenges you see now, broadly, may work?
Identified before starting Wikipedia, and what are the challenges today? So I have to make a confession that questions like that are very, very difficult for me to answer because one of my strengths and one of my weaknesses is that I am pathologically optimistic. So I always think everything's going to be fine, so I don't think in terms of challenges. I look for interesting, fun things to do, and when we're talking about something like junior achievement and talking to young people about entrepreneurship, one of the important things to know about Wikipedia is that it grew out of Nupedia, which was my previous project, which had the same vision to create a free encyclopedia for everyone, but was in fact a failure. And it was a failure because I didn't really understand online communities, didn't really understand how to make this work. And in fact, what we did is we created a very rigorous top-down model with a 7-stage review process. So you had to, we actually, this is a little embarrassing and silly to think about now. The guy who was running it for me actually had people faxing in their diplomas to prove they were qualified to write an article. And as you can imagine, this didn't work very well. And we had about 24 articles done. And I was very frustrated. I'm spending all this money. I don't understand why this is taking so long. And so I decided to write an article myself to see what it was like. And so I went to write an article. And my background, I was in academics. I was in finance, and I was learning financial economics and working on a PhD there. I never actually finished the PhD, which is why it's really good that they gave me one today. So my mom can leave me alone now. But I had a published paper on option pricing theory, which is a very mathematical branch of finance. And a guy named Robert Merton had recently won the Nobel Prize in Economics for his work in option pricing theory. So I thought, okay, well, I know his work very well. I have a published academic paper. I worked in industry as a trader using these theories. And so I thought I can write an article about them. And I sat down to write, and I had complete fear because it felt like I was back in graduate school, actually. You know, I was going to write my article, and then they were going to send it out not just to any finance professors, but to the most important and prestigious professors they could find who would be willing to look at it and criticize me. And that didn't seem like much fun, right? So it was a very intimidating process, and I never finished it. I never completed that. And that was when I realized, hey, this is not going to work. Something about this isn't going to work. We need to radically change the system. We need to be radically more open. And then one of my employees showed me Wiki, the Wiki model that was online. And I said, okay, let's try this. And we tried the Wiki, and it became very successful very quickly. But I mean, I was really at the verge with Wikipedia of closing the whole project down. I could see it wasn't working. I was getting tired of spending so much money and didn't know what to do. So the challenge, I think, at that time was in understanding the new medium and understanding how people can work together in an effective way. Today, well, I'm again at the position of I don't even know what the challenges are. I just try to have fun every day. So it's a very good question. I mean, I suppose, you know, overcoming the questions of quality, I think is a very important thing for Wikipedia.